The original Fiat 595 Abarth, basically a cute Fiat 500 morphed into a savage animal by a group of mildly insane Italians. Then came the modern 500 Abarth, a car equally as crazy, with an engine that sounds like a baby Lamborghini. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I love the Fiat 500, it's one of my favourite cars. But what about this thing, the all-electric Fiat 500e? That Lamborghini soundtrack, in this, it's a thing of the past. That's not necessarily a bad thing. See, in place of the 500 Abarth's 160 horsepower four-cylinder is a 111 horsepower electric motor. Now I admit, that may seem like I've got my wires crossed up, and things do get even more confusing when you stand on the throttle pedal. Despite having less horsepower, it feels a whole bunch faster. So how is that possible? Here's what you need to know about electric vehicles. There's a term you may have heard called instantaneous torque. Now what that means is when you hit the throttle pedal, you don't have to wait for the engine revs to spool up and deliver the power. In an electric motor, it's like a light switch. When you ask for full power, it's there immediately without lag. That's why it feels so fast and exhilarating, if just for a short moment. So let's cut to the chase. Sure, the Fiat 500e is a rewarding, fun car to drive, much like its identical gas-powered twin. But what about range anxiety, a valid concern if you plan on living with an electric vehicle? The 500e will go about 87 miles or so on a full charge, and that may not seem like a lot, but then how far do you typically drive on a daily basis? For most, I'd wager that's probably enough, especially if you have a second car for longer trips. There's something else worth mentioning too. If you drive an electric vehicle in California, you get access to the carpool lanes. And trust me, as someone who has this privilege myself with my personal car, that is worth the price of admission alone. And that price is surprisingly low. The 500es we sell on BP cost around 10 grand or less. And for that, you aren't getting a vehicle that feels cheap. Check out all this leather and the steering wheel. It's very nice. Okay, perhaps the seating position isn't all that comfortable. As someone who's 5'8", I need Inspector Gadget-like arms to fit. But then I go back to the price. Around 10k for a used one of these, a modern futuristic electric vehicle with a sense of style. You can't beat that. So who buys this car? Simple. Someone who wants to eliminate paying for gas. Someone who, depending on where they live, wants access to the carpool lanes. Someone who's budget conscious and doesn't travel long distances on a daily basis. Someone who isn't 7 foot tall. The 500e then is one of the best electric cars that isn't an expensive Tesla. If you're okay with the limited range and its limited size, it really is a gem. And anyway, who cares that it doesn't sound like a Lamborghini?